All right, Karen, I am super excited to have you here with me today. And I'm in the process of doing a series right now where I'm interviewing coaches about their experiences of building their businesses. So, coaches who have been doing it for a little bit and just kind of looking back and reflecting on their journey and sharing with others what the experience has been like, the good, the bad, anything in between. And so I'd love to have you start by just telling us a little bit about you and your business. Just give us a little
Sure.
introduction.
Okay. Well, thanks for having me.
Uh,
Yeah, my name's Karen Carl, and I am a financial counselor and retirement coach. So that's the field I work in. I really help midlife women to figure out their money, their finances, so that they can be happy with their life now and in retirement. And I chose that because I just find that there's a lot of information and help out there for people who are younger and saving for retirement. And I've seen some good resources out there too for them to, get their budgeting done and that kind of thing. But I didn't see much for people who are in their 50s for that midlife. Lots of help out there for people who are just about to retire as well and the choices they need to make for pensions and things like that. But there was a real gap. So that's what got me working on that. Yeah.
awesome. I think it's such a great topic because it is relevant to everyone.
Yeah, it sure is.
And it's something that there's a lot of shame about and just like hesitancy to talk about. And it can feel very overwhelming. So if you have someone that can walk you through that and explain things and kind of help you figure things out, I think that's awesome.
Yeah, it's really good. We live in this funny world where there's tons of pressure to spend money and consume, and at
Yeah.
the same time, our culture, North American culture, is very quiet about money. We don't talk about it.
Yeah.
So those two things together make it really tough for people, I think, who are trying to live within their means and looking to build wealth and not sure how to do it. And yeah, it can be really hard.
Yeah. And I think there's almost that double pressure. Like there's double pressure to make a lot of money and have a lot of money, but there's also pressure to spend a lot of money and have a lot of things.
Yeah,
So it's
exactly.
like these two don't necessarily go together. So it can be, yeah, tricky for people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I know you kind of answered this, but was there something specific that made you want to start your business?
Yeah, I mean, there are a few things. For me personally, I wanted more flexibility and freedom
Yeah.
in my work life, and I will soon be transitioning, towards retirement. I, I don't want to retire, boom, at a certain age. I want to find another line of work that I want to do that can go into maybe even past traditional retirement age. So I was looking for something to
Yeah.
transition to, and I've always wanted to own my own business. So it's one of those things that was left a mountain left to climb, and I really wanted to try it. So that's why I started my own business. And then for coaching, I actually looked at a lot of different things to do. Some things in tourism. I looked at
Okay.
designing a clothing brand for travel.
Oh,
Yeah, so some really different things. And in the end, I have a teaching background, and I thought it would
okay.
be a good transition. And I just really want to help people. So I want to end off my career, my working life with a service focus for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I love the idea too of not having to, like, if you have your own business and you're doing something that you enjoy doing, and helping people, that there's not like this pressure necessarily to retire at a certain time. Like if you want to keep doing
Yeah.
something very part-time or even, like just a couple hours a week or something, like you could continue doing it and just call all your own shots and do it how you wanted and as much as you want. So I think
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
nice for sure.
Yeah.
Um, so next question is what has been like the hardest part for you when it comes to building your business? Because I think there's a lot of misconceptions that it's like super easy and should happen overnight. So I think it's
Hmm.
helpful to like hear a bit about what are the challenges and um what's either like your biggest challenge or like the biggest lesson that you've learned through the process, you feel?
Yeah, I think for some people it might happen really quickly for them. For me, that wasn't the case. So I
Yeah.
think, I was a teacher for a long time. Maybe if I had started tutoring or coaching, something like that, it would have been quick. But I had to learn a whole new area of expertise. I mean, I had a lot of personal expertise in it, but I hadn't worked in finance before.
Yeah.
So for me, it's taken a while. And I think my biggest challenge was, well, at different phases, it was different things, right? So first,
Yeah.
figuring out my niche and figuring
Yep.
out my
Yep.
ideal client. I went in one direction and then it just wasn't happening. And so when I was working with you, then we shifted. It was really hard for me to make that decision to shift after putting in so much time on the other
Yeah.
focus, but I did, and that's made a big difference. But all of that took a lot of time. Um, and then I think another big challenge was just figuring out what I liked doing. So I tried having a Facebook group. I tried Instagram. I tried YouTube.
Yeah.
And at the end of that, I found it all very exhausting. But I did like YouTube. So I cut everything else out. And now I'm working with YouTube as my platform and in person marketing. So
Awesome.
yeah, and it's just a lot to learn. So when you have
Yeah.
to think about the content creation and marketing and sales and organizing your business and online platforms for a website and all of those things, it just takes a long time to figure out, and a lot of it was trial and error. So those were probably my biggest challenges, um, overall or technically or tactically, but I would say the
Yeah.
biggest challenge I've overcome is confidence and finding my own voice. So I've
Totally.
really had to work to build my self-confidence. And there's so many people out there when you start looking at coaches who are doing an amazing job, and many of them have been at it for a really long time.
Yeah.
So stopping that comparison and just finding my voice has been a big challenge, but it's definitely coming along.
Yeah. Yeah. Has there been anything specific that you found has helped you the most with that, or has it just been like kind of a time thing?
Um, some of it's a time thing.
Yeah.
Taking the pressure off of making money right away really helped me. So,
Yes.
I'd been through another coaching program where they were really pushing to get out there and make money. And I found that just actually worked against me with confidence. So,
Yep.
I gave away some free coaching. I have coached at a rate I'm really comfortable with. It isn't terribly high. And then it's increasing over time. So having no pressure on the money side has really helped as well with that.
Yeah, yeah, I find that's true across the board. I feel like if you have a ton of pressure on yourself to make money right away, you end up kind of like suffocating your business pretty much because it just doesn't feel good. So you can feel
Exactly.
it, and a lot of times the clients, your potential clients can feel it. There's like this desperation energy, which is it's just not
It's
nice.
not nice. So I think when I come at it from whenever I start to go down that road and feel uncomfortable, and I come back to um, a place of service. So I really do want to help people. And if what
Yeah,
I'm doing helps them, of course I want to make some money, but the focus is more on the helping than on the
totally.
money. And I figure the money will come. Yeah.
Totally.
And that feels good.
Yes, yes, I agree. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's huge. You mentioned marketing and liking YouTube and doing some in-person stuff as far as marketing, because I always find marketing for a lot of people, I think it's highly individualized. Like what works for one person isn't necessarily what works for someone else. And so I'm always interested in what people end up deciding on or what they kind of find through trial and error is where they want to focus. So you mentioned, like I said, YouTube and then some in-person stuff. Is there any in-person stuff specifically that you're doing or wanting to do that you'd like to share?
Yeah, I'm giving presentations, so doing lunch and learns or evening
Awesome.
presentations. And so don't charge for those, but try to give really good value. And then
Yeah.
I just figure some people will work with me, some people won't. Either way, it's good energy. I've helped some people. So that's the direction I'm going. And it really works well with my background in teaching. I feel very comfortable presenting. And so it's one of my strengths. And I enjoy doing that. So that's what I'm focusing on in person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. I think there's been, especially since COVID, I've seen like a huge shift as far as people getting a lot more momentum in person than online because
Yeah.
because I think people are wanting the in-person connection and online marketplace continues to get more saturated. And I think people are
Hmm.
the energy has continued to get a little more, I don't know if it's like cynical or whatever it is, but like that continues to happen a little bit. So I think it can be a harder place to market.
Yeah, and I see one is short term and one is longer term. So, in person, I feel like I can get clients more quickly. They just see me, meet me, and we can
Yeah,
work together. But I'm doing YouTube for longer term. I want to build
totally.
an audience, and I don't expect to get clients from that right away. But it's nice to have an online presence, and even
Totally.
local people can then check me out on there and get to know
Yeah.
me a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why I think like social media can be great as far as like continuing for people to get to know you and kind of build that
Hmm.
relationship, to watch some
Yeah.
content and see what you're all about and what you're like and all those things.
Yeah. Exactly.
Um, so is there any, I know we kind of talked about this too, but is there anywhere else or any other ways you feel like you've changed through this process of building your business, kind of like personally?
Yeah, I think just working against perfectionism and just good
Mm.
enough is good enough and moving forward instead of
Yeah.
getting trapped in analysis paralysis and redoing things and having it all perfect. So that's one way. And then another way is really building my way forward. I like to have in my personal life and my work life, I like to plan everything out and then work forward. But with this, I'm really just having to take the next step and try things and then take the next step. So it really needs to be just directional. It's taking me in the right direction, but it's
Yeah.
not. I'm moving around a lot in it. It's really fluid. So
Yeah.
that's been a big change for me too.
Yeah, yeah. I think for those of us that are perfectionists, like both of those things are very challenging. Because we want to know like how's it going to work out? Like what's the big long path forward? And you can't
Yeah.
you can't know. You kind of have to just take it step by step and see how things are working. Um,
Hmm.
has there been anything that you have found helpful personally to kind of let go of both perfectionism and like having to know the whole path, or has it just been through working on your business that you've just discovered like I just have to do this because otherwise I won't move forward.
Yeah, I think it's just working with it and getting feedback from others saying
Yeah.
like, just do it, just do it. It's fine, it's good, just go and try. And um, yeah, and then working through it, the process. Yeah, it's just been something I've learned over time because when I'm trying to make it perfect, I drive myself crazy and nothing happens. So I just have to do the next thing and I just have to get it done. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Awesome. I love that because it's very important. It makes a huge difference.
it does.
Yeah. Any advice that you'd like to give to other people who are either just getting started with the business or who are maybe feeling frustrated or stuck or yeah, any words of wisdom that you would want to share?
Yeah. Um, I think just trying to make sure that whatever you're doing is really aligned with what you want and what you enjoy and not trying to do things because others say you should. Like it's good to try all the different things that you can do out there to build your business, but in the
Yeah.
end, it has to feel good for you and it has to be right for you. And I think there's a million different ways to build a business. So there's a
Totally.
way out there for all of us. So that's one thing. And then getting support is the other thing. There's no way I could have done it on my own. I tried to do it on my own and it didn't work. And
Yeah.
then I worked with you and that was really helpful. And now that that's done, I have an accountability partner who's also a coach and the two
Yeah.
of us are working together. So having that community is a game changer. So I would just say don't try to do it by yourself, find support, whether it's a coach or whether it's another business person that can help you out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. We're not meant to do things totally on our own. It's very hard
No,
to do it.
especially when it's really hard. Yeah. When it's really
Yeah.
new to you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because otherwise it's so easy to just be like, this is too hard. I'm not going to do it. Right. But if you have someone
Yeah.
that you can bounce ideas off of and kind of help hold you accountable and stuff, like it helps you kind of work through some of those tougher blocks that we may come across as we go.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, Last thing for you is that I would
Yeah.
love for you just to share where can people find out more about you if they want to come and find out more about money and retirement and follow along with your
Yeah.
what you're doing. Can you give us where people can find you? And I'll
Yeah,
share the
it's
links too, but just let people know.
okay, great. Yeah, I mean, the main platform is my website. So it's karencarle.com.
Okay.
And the last name is Carle, but you'll have it in the link.
Okay.
And then I'm on YouTube as well, Karen Carle Coaching.
Okay.
So those are, but you can find me through my website. I have links to all the other places. So
Okay.
yeah,
Awesome. Perfect. Well, thank you
yeah.
so much for sharing all of that. I know people find it really helpful. Yeah, it's all very inspiring. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.